guys, it's Picasso here. Today I'm going to be showing you how I create a super cool motion blur type of an effect. And you can use these with literally anything to spice up your portraits, spice up your fashion photographs, literally anything. And you can also use these techniques for, let's say, product photography or street photography. Literally anything you could possibly imagine, you can implement this with the motion blur effect in Photoshop. Alright, so first things first, here's my beautiful model Janine here. We have this studio portrait of her, and I think it's absolutely stunning. I already skin retouched, color graded to black and white. Everything is pretty much done, but not really, because I want to spice up this photograph a little bit more. So with that, I already kind of sped this up a little bit. I already did skin retouching, like I said. So what you're going to do is that you're going to work on your background layer, and what you're going to be doing is using this selection tool, and we're just going to select subject. And this doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. I mean, if you're going to be using certain parts of your image, you kind of, that really depends on what you want to do with your actual photograph. So you're going to actually cut whatever you need to cut out. But I don't think for this particular picture that I'm working on, I'm working towards perfection. So we're just gonna leave it off at whatever the select subject tool did for me. So yeah, we are going to press Command C to copy your selection, and then Command V to create that layer. So you can't really see, but there is a layer behind the other there. Okay, I already did this, so I'm just deleting that layer. So you are going to have that layer above your background layer. Okay, so let me just press Option to zoom out a little bit. Alright, so what we're going to be doing here is make sure you're in the photography station. You are going to use the letter tool, letter tool. And what I am using here is, hold on, I'm using Arial Black, type, regular, size 48. You can make it bigger or smaller, that depends on what you want to do. Let's do letter A, for example. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to create a bunch of letters all mixed around and all behind her, kind of falling down. So that's the idea that we're going for today. So we're just going to grab that letter. You can make it bigger or smaller depending on what you want to create with it. You can also change the color, the type, anything. So here we are, we're doing letter A. I kind of like how it's just sitting around here on her shoulder. There, or I can make it bigger, I don't know. We can go super crazy with this. Okay. I do have some letters that are kind of ready to go here. So I'm just gonna click the little eyeball icon and make them appear. So now that you're working with the letters, you're definitely going to be working underneath that selection that we just made a while ago. So make sure the letters that you're working with are underneath the layer of your selection so the letters can appear behind your model. So do you see that W there? So make sure you're working underneath that selection tool so you can be working directly behind your model and it can look a little bit more realistic. So same thing with that E. I made sure it's underneath the selection tool, selection of your model, and I'm making up here, read here. So if it's above that selection, it's going to be on top of your model's dress or your model's head, literally. So make sure it's sitting underneath your selection. Alright, so I'm just going to play around here for you guys. So what I did was I created a bunch of letters. I made sure I got every single one. Oops, don't want to do that. Okay, I made sure I created and got all of the alphabets in order so I can have this a little bit more accurate. I got inspired by my niece for the first challenge of the 365-day art challenge that I'm currently working on, and I was overthinking. I'm like, you know what, since my 5-year-old niece is in kindergarten, currently learning the alphabets, might as well just take inspiration from that and go forward. And they turned out pretty cool, so I hope you guys try this out in any way you can. This is so fun to just create and play around with Photoshop. So again, you can make it bigger or smaller. Oops. And for just this time's sake, I am just kind of playing. I'm not using the whole entire alphabet, but you can. But I'm just making it a little bit easier and quick, so you guys can learn how I quickly did it, and you guys can do it on your own. So let's see here, and that's pretty cool. Alright, so once you have tons and tons and tons and tons of text layers, we are going to merge them together, or Command E. Alright, so now we have your background layer, you have your text layers that are now all merged together, so now you're just working with one layer instead of like 5 million or however much you're using for your texts. And your selective layer for your model or product, anything that you're working on currently. Just don't mind these curves, black and white curves layer. These are just for the my color grading session earlier, so yeah. So we're not touching those, or you probably don't even have those. But yeah, we're just paying attention to those 3 layers that you currently have. So selection tool, your background, and your text layer. So now I am working on my text layer. I'm going over to filter, I'm going over to blur, and motion blur. Alright, so now you see that the letters behind your model are blurry, so that's a good sign, very good, unless you're not working towards making anything blurry, click off this video. Alright, so, you can make it super blurry with the distance pixels, or you can make it not so blurry, very gentle, very not so blurry. And you can also change the angle of where that motion blur is coming from. So either from up top or up bottom, left to right, or slanted. I think the best for me is the bottom angle. So the letters look like they're all coming down from the frame. So I am going to make this a little bit blurrier. Let's see. I think in the original photo I used something around 300. It looked pretty blurry. So yeah, we'll stick to that. Alright, cool. So again, make sure you have your selective layer, or else, I mean, honestly, it's kind of, if you're trying to create that kind of layer over your model type of thing, I guess it can look pretty cool. Let's see if we can do that. I'm making another copy of that letters layer. I'm making the other one go over the model and the other one just below her, so you can layer that around so the letters are kind of in your model's face. That's pretty cool. That looks kind of realistic if you're going for that type of mood. Looks pretty cool. You can angle it in any way you want to. I think that looks pretty cool to me. And you can also change the direction again with the motion blur tool. Alright. You can make them smaller. You can also erase if you don't want a certain letter in the way. You can also do that. I've used the motion blur tool way too many times, and honestly it really helps and takes my photography game to the next level. So I will be using more of this tool for future shoots, and especially for my product photography. It's pretty fun when you're messing around with that motion blur tool. Alright, I think I'm okay with how this is looking like. And I just wanted to show you guys just a quick little thing. Let me just get rid of all these letters. Okay, so we're working back to original canvas. And I still have that selective layer that we were working on earlier, so we're going to select that one. And we are going, again, we're going back to my favorite tool, the motion blur. And now, instead of the letters, we're working with our model. So this is kind of cool too if you want to spice up your portraits. Just your portraits and you don't want to make anything too crazy. Yeah, it looks pretty realistic. I'm in love with this motion blur tool. So yeah, I am making that selective layer super blurry. See, she looks like she's moving, so that's really cool. Especially she's wearing all these jewelry and these like face stickers, so it really kind of plays with that whole bright part of the photo into movement. And let me just select the 86 distance. I'm okay with that one. Actually, wait, hold on. I get pretty picky. Blur, motion blur. That's a little too blurry. I think that's fine. Alright, so you can't really see your face, but if you play around with the opacity, it's at 100 right now, so if you can take it to maybe 6, keep it around 49% to 65%, it will start having your original layer, your background layer, into, you can see it peek through underneath that motion blur, so it doesn't look too blurry. So here we are. It looks pretty cool. Adds a little bit of like mystery to your photos. And you can also play around with that layer. Play with the opacity. I think that's really cool. Or you can make another copy of that. Get that ghosty effect. I mean, Halloween is on its way, so let's start a little bit early, shall we? Oops. Okay. Alright, you guys. This looks really cool. Please let me know if you try this out, show it to me. If you follow me on Twitter, tag me at Picasso. If you follow me on Instagram, tag me at Picasso. I would love to see what you guys come up with. I will be posting much more very soon. I'm doing the 365 art challenge. And yeah, I'm gonna keep myself busy for a while. So I will see you guys very, very soon. Stay creative, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye!